I've been through a lot. I'm not doing no sorry for me. I'm not big no pity. I make a pact with God, so I'm going to be a better man. I'm just stick to that. Now make nobody get me down. I'm going to go back where I come from.
April the 28th. All them say them bother them no consult yet. I want Barbados spin them like tornadoes.
But our word to Mr. Vybz Kartel and the promoters right now is this. We are definitely against your coming here to sing and parade on Easter or Sunday, where the church look forward to quiet reflection and worship. In fact, we are not in agreement with any other day if you're coming with something negative. If you're negative, stay away. If you're positive, you're welcome. So the church today is saying loud and clear with her feet on the ground, nowhere in this country and not on Easter. If you come to sing songs, I would encourage them to be involved in drugs and things that are negative. And we will have more increase in murders. We said not about here. We will welcome you if you come here for good. But if you come for negative, we will not allow that. We say not about here.
Welcome to Jamaica Dancehall Source News and Entertainment with a Buzz. The video that you saw at the start of this is of the leader of a church group in Barbados. That is pretty much saying that they don't want Vybz Kartel to perform in their country because of the negative implication. So, in case you did not know, Vybz Kartel is scheduled to perform on the 20th of April 2025, about a week or so from today. He is scheduled to perform at the Kensington Oval in Barbados, like I said. However, he is getting a very hard time from the church group because based on what they say and based on what you see in the video, they are claiming that he is coming with music that promotes sex, promotes gun, promotes murder. There's nothing positive in his music, especially on the day in which it is supposed to be keeping, which is Easter. I guess that Easter Sunday or Easter weekend. They're going to say that Vybz Kartel is going to corrupt the whole Easter. Vybz Kartel by himself. So they are saying that the timing of him coming is not the right time, Easter, which is a Christian holiday, allegedly. Now, people, isn't it more than coincidental that this lady is coming out and lashing out? And yes, people have the right to a peaceful protest and they feel how they feel. But it seems more than coincidental that it was on the eve of his second day performing at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, in which this lady is saying that. So it seems as if because she realized that, listen, this man has picked up steam, this man has influence, this man has power, she feels as if it is an opportune time to come out and bash the artists. However, people, at the end of the day, what we've come to realize is that money is always the motive. So therefore, if people talk, money moves mountain, money talks, and BS walks. And the promoter of that country being a Barbados national, he or she has the right to make a honest living, even if it is bringing somebody like Vybz Kartel. So at the end of the day, all of the people that you see that are giving Vybz Kartel a hard time, and people have the right to say how they feel, meaning the bloggers, meaning Footer Hype, meaning DJ Magnum, meaning DJ Kenny, whomever. It is an exercise in futility because the show is going to go on. And whenever somebody is hot, whenever somebody is bringing money, whenever it is going to affect the economy in a positive way, the comet is coming and it is going to be unstoppable. As much as people talk, like me say, money talk and BS walks, point blank and period. So the next thing that is popping in the news is based off the small video snippet that you just watched, in which Bounty Killer, legendary dancehall artist, confronts dancehall artist Munga. Truth be told, just on that snippet, based on the fact that the audio was muted, there was no sound. It was really up to interpretation, and people are say, hold on a minute. It seems as if Bounty Killer is giving Munga a tongue lashing. And you saw that Munga did not really say anything, as if he knew within himself that he was wrong. So most persons, including myself, was wondering and pondering what exactly transpired between Bounty Killer and Munga. Because we saw that Bounty Killer, even though he is cross, miserable, and angry, him kind of calm down later. However, what it is that Bounty Killer has is what we call tough love, meaning that he is going to give you constructive criticism. And based on the information that I have gotten, that is confirmed, it is said that Bounty Killer has probably seen Munga hanging out at all sorts of party this Monday, this Sunday. And he must said to himself, then hold on a minute, you're out and about all these places, but we're not hearing any sorts of music. We're not hearing you make any sorts of buzz. We just see a floss and a drink and a dance up and a jump all over the place like a frog. Where is the music? That is what you're about. The music as an artist, that is how you make your living, especially somebody that has talent, somebody that was buzzing before. Don't know if Munga's past is useful time as any sorts of current or popping artists. But whenever you have talent, you have to just put in the work. Something, throw up something, sing some song, post some song, something is going to stick. So pretty much, if you don't try, nothing can happen. You just don't know. So Bounty Killer is giving him constructive criticism. He is giving him tough love. Listen, do not give up. Put in the work. And truth be told, a lot of times, these artists, they are just not hot. They are just not relevant. So even though they might put out the song, it is not connecting with nobody's ears. It is like a tree that falls in the forest. Nobody is there to hear it. Point blank and period. So the next thing that is popping in the news, and this is just my opinion, I think that Vybz Kartel used those 2 shows at the Barclays Center in New York, Brooklyn, to prove that he is indeed the king of the dancehall. And people, I am just going to give you my opinion. So pretty much back to back, 2 shows. Call it say 18,000 people first show, Saturday, 18,000 people second show. And I've seen snippets of the first show, and I've pretty much watched all of the second show through streaming. So therefore, I can give my opinion. I am an opinionative person. First thing first, the Barclays Center, you have to be a pop, rap, hip-hop superstar to even sell out that stadium. And even if you're a pop, hip-hop, R&B superstar, you might not sell out the stadium. Vybz Kartel did it twice, back to back. Now, like them say, out of sight, out of mind. However, in economics, whenever something is sparse or scarce, there's always going to be an anticipation. And I say this to say that the fact that Vybz Kartel was absent for 12 to 13 years, closer to 13 years, it made the demand very, very high because people are familiar with his catalog. People know the face. People have not seen him. It's been about 20 years or so since he last went to the United States to do any sorts of performance. So just on those bases, the anticipation was going to be high. The demand was going to be high. However, it is not just the anticipation or the demand. It is the caliber of artists that were there. It was the production. Now, a lot of persons were saying that, well, you should use the band because the band, it will show up your imperfection. And whenever you use TV track or music, background music, then you can use the cheat code. Well, people, there are advantage and disadvantage to both. Most persons, big artists, are going to use band. That is like standard procedure protocol. However, when you use a good DJ and you have the right audio system, as in that was at the Brooklyn Center, the proper audio, remember, we are speaking about a multi-billion-dollar company, meaning NBA, National Basketball Association. So therefore, their stadiums are going to have the proper audio. That means that if you're in the nosebleed section or you're on the stage, you're going to hear the quality like you need to hear it. So therefore, you're going to be amped up. It is almost as if you are listening to a band, just not listening to a band. However, the next thing is that whenever you have a catalog of music, the music sells itself, the catalog sells itself. So even if your performance is mediocre, even if your voice is not up to par, up to standards, that catalog is always going to make up for that lack of performance thereof. And not to give any sorts of excuse, because truth and the fact is that if you're asking for high price, which Vybz Kartel concert is in high demand, the price is high. So therefore, people expect to whom much is given, much is expected. But me just I say, he made up for it. With the performance, with the artist, the selection, the audio, pyrotechnics, everything was A1. Not going to say that his performance was the best. Of course, we know that he is suffering from grave disease. We know that he was locked up for 13 years. So therefore, we know that he is getting older. And we know the performance. And he was never a top-notch performer like the Beanie Man, like the Tommy Lee Sparta, artists like those. However, the catalog speaks for itself. The music speaks for itself. And at the end of the day, it is the music that counts. So people, like me say, that is just my views on who is the actual king of dancehall based on just those two concerts. My opinion, again, me just I say, it proves who is hot, who is relevant, who have clout, who have the links, who can do and who can deliver. At the end of the day, it is the performance that counts, meaning what you saw on stage, the totality of the package. Not just the performance, it is the catalog, it is the way that he influences people, it is the way that he drives the crowd. It is just about every category with the exception of his performance that was lacking. Just my views, just my opinion, point blank and period. So the next thing that is popping in the news, still continuing on the theme of Vybz Kartel's topic. We see we not hear from Foota Hype after day one of the first show. We see we not hear from DJ Magnum. And we see we not hear from DJ Kentucky. And we see that his biggest critic kind of silence. He has been silenced. So people, we know that Foota Hype is relentless. And the last shot that Foota Hype took against Vybz Kartel is to diss him in an interview that he did. And the person asked him, what do you think is going on as it pertains to Lisa Hyper? And this is exactly what Foota Hype has to say as it pertains to Lisa Hyper and Vybz Kartel's situation. Take a listen, take a look.
Don't you think at the time that you were talking to her, she was in a bad mental place? Or so what you might have...
She will always...
the truth?
No, what she have tell me, she have proof, she have text, she have voice note, she have holy pastor. See? So people actually think she's a mad person, but them not think what made her mad.
So let me ask them, what do you think make her mad? Just give me an idea. What do you think make her mad?
Treatment, how she was treated, broken promises, abuse, physical and mental abuse from the people that she loved the most.
Now people, whenever you hate somebody, whenever you have a problem with somebody, you always see that person as the problem. It is not rational thinking. It is called hate. It is called obsessiveness. It is called doing everything within your means to bring down that person. It means that you're probably insecure within yourself. So by you bringing down that person that you see is obviously successful, not paying you dog mind. Then whenever you're asked any sorts of question, even if that person has nothing to do with the present situation, you're always going to look for a motive. You're always going to look for a reason, even when one does not exist. Because at the end of the day, like I said, Lisa Hyper is a big woman. Vybz Kartel is not responsible for Lisa Hyper. And even if he made promise, there is no contractual agreement. Yes, you're supposed to do the right thing, especially if somebody sticks by you, somebody is loyal to you. However, you should always be mindful that when you give out loyalty, it does not necessarily mean that loyalty is going to come back to you. It might be disloyalty. It is just mankind. It is just the nature of men in a 2025. Some just say, Vybz Kartel knows what is the right thing to do. Vybz Kartel and Lisa Hyper have some sorts of relationship, past label mates. So therefore, Vybz Kartel and Lisa Hype is to work out their problems, if they can. And it is nobody else's business. And yes, people like Foot Hype and myself have an opinion. However, at the end of the day, it is the action of Lisa Hype and the action of Vybz Kartel that determines exactly what happens. Point blank and period. So anyways, people, thanks once again for checking out my video. If you appreciate videos like these, please show your appreciation by liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing to my channel. That is how YouTube promotes videos like these to like-minded, sensible persons like yourself. Bless up.
How was Jamaica for you? Is Jamaica a safe space for Vybz Kartel?
Yeah, of course. Not.
You play too much. Do you stay there primarily? Or?
I live here, sir.
Oh, okay.
I live in Florida.
Got you.
I mean, I did 13 years in prison. Why would I? Come on. Yeah. But I rep my country right through. I rep my culture.
So the next thing that is popping in the news is that we saw that Vybz Kartel did an interview with one of those big radio stations in New York. And he was asked a whole bunch of questions. However, two of the questions that piqued the interest of dancehall reggae fans in Jamaica is the fact that Vybz Kartel stated that he does not really feel safe in Jamaica and his new residence is Florida, Miami or Fort Lauderdale, one of them. So people start to speculate, people start to make all sorts of assumptions that Vybz Kartel get him green card, Vybz Kartel get US citizenship, Vybz Kartel buy the chum gold card. Now people, here's the thing. Vybz Kartel is not a resident, meaning legal green card holder. In a United States, that means nobody no file for him. He can, however, file as an entity that is going to pay a whole bunch of tax. He would qualify. However, that process takes a very, very long time. As it pertains to the chum green card, yes, that is a faster, swifter way to residence than citizenship after a couple of years. But the truth and the fact is that Vybz Kartel has a US work permit. As you see that he was in Brooklyn performing Saturday and Sunday, so therefore that verifies and validates it. As the holder of a work permit in the United States, that means that whatever the length of time in which that work permit is valid, you can actually stay there. It is not like the regular traveler or visitor's visa wherein after 6 months, you have to go back to your country, chill out for a few, and then goes back. No. Once that work permit is valid, you can actually stay there. Once you can prove that you're there working, and you and I know that Vybz Kartel is a dancehall artist, him not have to fabricate nothing, him not have to make up nothing. So just based on the fact that he is a holder of a work permit, he has been working, it means that he is fully qualified. Now, as it pertains to getting legal residency, like me say, him can file under the fact that he is an entity that is going to pay tax. So therefore, it is going to add to the economics of United States. And under the Trump gold card, he would also qualify. But I don't know Vybz Kartel financial situation. Not saying that he cannot afford it or he can afford it, but me just say $5 million for any person, including Vybz Kartel, including rich people, to just pop out one time. So most persons are not going to do that. So therefore, the most economic and easiest way is to get the work permit, which he already has. So people, in my opinion, that is why he says that he's a resident in the United States. Didn't say that he was a legal resident, did not say that he was a citizen. However, wherever you live, most of your life, that is where you are a resident at. And at this present time, Florida is a place that Vybz Kartel is living. Point blank and period.